How a spirit gets united to a baby, the maternal cord, journeys and experiences of the spirits when they decide to go and try material lives. Yes, dear son, I shall tell you the divine topic that shall move the mothers of the world, the journey which everyone has taken, the first departure from the kingdom of heavens, the celestial longing of each spirit, dreams and grandeur proper of a beginner. When a spirit travels to the remote worlds, it makes its beginning of becoming a creature of flesh, to be of velocity, space, and time. The philosophy of the spirit from the moment it comes out of the kingdom is that of a child. It carries in its solar germ all the divine scenes which it saw and lived in the kingdom. The living hierarchies accompany it during its journey. The most beautiful and kind solar mothers see it depart. These solar mothers have not got determined children, for they are universal mothers, all of them are their children. And their number has no limits, for you children of the earth, your universal mother is the solar mother Omega, the same one who allowed to be called by many names in your world, many names and one sole mother, one sole God only. Mother and father in the kingdom of heavens are one sole person, and at the same time, infinite people. They are laws proper of the solar trinity, whose salt of life is everywhere. It witnesses every birth which takes place in all the worlds of the universe. Nothing escapes from the divine control of the solar trinity. When a spirit is born in some sun, this has infinite mothers who want it. Its number is like the number of molehills contained in a desert. The solar mothers have got their own universes and their own laws, within the own thinking expansive universe. All of you were attended on the maternal planet Trino. You were taken care of as only a loving mother can do it. There in Trino, there are seas of milk as the world has never seen. The solar mothers are of the same antiquity as the crews of the flying saucers which visit you, and they are not the only ones, for only the Father is unique. The antiquities as far as existences are concerned have no limit. And the eternal search which exists in the kingdom for getting to know who is the oldest. After the Father is immortal, only the Father knows. Creation auto-helps itself in the births. Those who are microscopic now, in the eternal tomorrow shall be great, and they shall occupy positions of greater responsibility in the creation. The women of today shall become solar mothers in the future. 4. What is up above is the same as down below. The obligations of down below are repeated up above, and those of up above are repeated down below. The birth of a spirit is like the birth of a baby, for spirit and matter are initiated together. It is the first covenant which is made. The first body of a newborn spirit is a solar milky gas, and in this body of gas is the solar innocence, from whose laws the symbols of silver used in many worlds have come out. Behold the origin of the little lamb of silver which humanity shall wear, a symbol of the mental purity, clean of spirit, healthy mind. The honest being shall carry it, and every repented one, for the human faith takes infinite forms and determinations. Yes, dear son, this celestial drawing explains that the entire living nature has got a solar cord. The mother who is awaiting a fruit has got infinite solar cords, hers and the baby's. Each little pore of her body of flesh has got a cord. The same goes for the spirit. Each of the 318 virtues which the human thinking has also got its solar cord. That is how the thinking expansive universe's everything above everything of Father Jehovah is united. Even the known and unknown microbes have got their cord which unite them to the suns. Each element of creation has got its cord. The flying saucers and the planets all the same, for no one is disinherited, no one is less before the Father. In the drawing one can see lines and squares. It means that everything started off from a little point which got expanded in a linear way. It was the first geometry which the terrestrial molecules had, and every element of nature is the extension of the little point. The line represents the circle and the spiral, for in every geometry it does not stop from being a line. the spiral going back to the past, passes through the line and arrives to the point of departure, and every geometric figure going back in time returns to its origin. It returns to being a point, and beyond the point is the greater figure, the suns which created the point of origin, and if a sun went back in its evolution, it would pass exactly through the same circle, line, and point. Going to remote planets in order to try lives is for the spirit like going to a little point. Every planet, whichever its size may be, is called geometric point from the kingdom of heavens. After the Father, no one is greater. Every infinity is relative before infinity itself. Every spirit is called when it must be born to life again, and so many spirits come to the call that they darken the sons of the macrocosm. Many are called and a few are chosen, for everyone wants to go to the more advanced worlds, and to achieve it they must be blessed. The saved ones must go to the worlds that the Trinity designates them. The blessed one chooses the world himself. Reincarnation is the entrance of a spirit into the flesh. It is to be born again into the life of flesh, for it had been there before. For every spirit is born again, and the first flesh that a spirit had was a gaseous flesh, and before that first flesh, it was a solar innocence, a fire cherub. It was physically like a very shining pearl, and its world was the seas of milk of the solar mother Omega. It means that the innocence has got its living universes, and one of the most sublime awards to every spirit is to visit their universes of origin, its place of beginning, whose color is of a white sky. Every spirit which has visited the galaxy of innocence passes out before so much beauty, and that impression accompanies it through many existences. When a spirit must come to life, it is given all its destiny to know, and certain changes are allowed to be made in it, as long as this is within its salt of life. The salt of life is the knowledge or experience which each spirit has, and the more working and active a spirit was, its salt of life is greater in attribute and quality. A better body for a better world she shall have. The beings which go to the worlds and let themselves be deluded by pleasures and comfort which have no spiritual merit, have got a salt of life, which is very poor morally, and the most certain is that they will return to the same world, where they were just instants before. It is what will happen to every lazy and slothful one of the earth, to all those who wasted their time in fashions with no spiritual value. The importance in which every spirit lets itself be influenced is also judged in the kingdom, and all those who gave importance to fashion in order to stand out in life shall not enter the kingdom of heavens, for besides condemning themselves morally, they make others who imitate them fall. When a spirit is about to get united to a baby, a little point starts to be formed around it which starts to get longer. It is the solar or maternal cord. It is a fluidic and expansive cord, and the spirit feels bound to it. It catches sight of a little point which is the earth, but, to arrive there, it must go through infinite galaxies. It sees scenes which it has never seen, and as time passes by, the spirit feels the influence of the little point called earth in a greater degree. It sees itself being introduced in an unknown dimension. It feels that the joy it felt in the kingdom of heaven starts going away. It starts to fade. New and unknown worlds start appearing before her. Once in a while she sees something shining, which reminds her of the gigantic silvery ships. They are the flying saucers which from unprecedented distances accompany her/him and observe her, just as a baby is looked after on earth. What is up above is the same as down below, and when the moment of entering into an unknown life comes, an entire oblivion seizes her, the greatest apathy enters her. It is getting closer to the other extreme of the cord, and it feels that it has arrived in the little point already. It even feels noise. It ignores the cause. It sees rivers and oceans of blood and water. It sees the bones of the mother like gigantic mountains. It sees emptiness and precipices. It sees immense fires. It sees the electricity of the body of flesh of its terrestrial mother. It talks with microscopic creatures, which were waiting for him, her, like the arrival of a great prophet, in which its own elements of a baby would be infinite laws of study for these microscopic creatures, just like a prophet among men brings new revelations. What takes place in the microscopic takes place in the macro. What is up above is the same as down below. In your interior being, similar events to the exterior take place. You have got microscopic dimensions, and your exterior is what is up above for these creatures. The spirit gets to its mother's body by means of the solar cord. All the time which a pregnancy takes is an entire infinity for the spirit, which goes through infinite dimensions until it appears in the terrestrial dimension, and as the journey lasts, its molecules are bonding together with the molecules of the human present. The spirit, being entertained by the dimensions it is going through, does not notice how its terrestrial present is taking form. It is because of this cause that no one remembers the experiences one went through in their mother's womb, and the spirit gets to know it when the bonding together is total. When it sees and feels itself enclosed in a geometry of flesh, the oblivion of the past is fulfilled at all times, which is the greater cause of the trials of life. Every life is a request which has got its attribute and quality, and the characteristic of the human life is the oblivion of its own origin, for it is precisely trialing a new life, and to trial a life, it requested conditions. Therefore, the lack of knowledge of your past is a cause which came out of you. You requested it, and it was conceded to you, and you were given a free will within the oblivion itself. The trials of life were initiated after Adam and Eve's disobedience, and it shall last until the doctrine of the Lamb of God gets to be understood by all the generation, for that is how you requested it. It had to be the living spirituality which had to bring a new light to the world. Materialism is a planetary and limited philosophy, and its prompt fall shall mark its end. The exploitative materialism is Satan's legion of admirers, for in the kingdom all the spirits have got a free will. They can go wherever they want, and this free will takes them to visit great wisdoms, and so it is that the exploitative spirits fell attracted to the followers of the evil one, and their spirits were deluded. They fell into a weakness within the own evolution. Therefore the cause of the world's suffering is because of the human's weakness, a weakness which has shrewdness and ambition as attribute and quality. These demons were the ones who took the liberty of creating money, and with that they divided the entire human generation in rich and poor. Only Satan divides himself. The trials of life which you requested should not have been as unfair and painful as it is. Because of these demons of capitalism is that you carry the yoke of injustice. Because of these demons, none of you shall enter the kingdom, for they also deluded you. The attribute and quality of your thinking was inferior to the attribute and quality of the morality of my commandments. You were entertained in a false philosophy instant by instant, second by second, and it is enough a violation of a second and you do not enter the kingdom of heavens. These demons of exploitation condemned themselves and condemned the world. The weeping and gnashing of teeth is because of them, which was guided by a legion of blinds, which made of this humanity other blinds as well, blinds leading other blinds who inherit the moral weakness and ignorance. All of you came out of the kingdom very joyfully, even those who had to pay great debts, and you should return with the same joy, which is the permanent virtue of the kingdom of heavens. If it did not happen that way, you should thank your blinds leading other blinds, creators of the science of good, of the well-being which draws you apart from the Father's morality. But I verily say unto you, if you the blinds who let yourselves be guided by these demons are punished, they shall be so 1,000 times more. It means 1,000 times more for each little pore of their bodies of flesh, each little pore of flesh represents a justice in which each one of them represent 1,000 existences in darkness. If this humanity sinned, 1/3 of their cause is because of these demons of exploitation, which is not the same as sinning by one's own cause. Even the most microscopic influential being of each sin is judged, the big ones of the world, by not quitting their terrestrial positions even by seeing so much injustice, shall not enter the kingdom of heavens, but those handful beings who struggled and struggled for defending the humble's rights, are saved. For every measure is measured in the kingdom with the rod one measured when defending a justice. The Father's justice is in everything that one thinks of, for he is everywhere. All the solar cords which unite the natures to the suns have got their instantaneous laws of justice. So it is that when an earthquake, tremor, or tsunami take place, the molecules of the living elements claim and complain, just as your spirit whines. For what is up above is the same as down below. What takes place in a given instant in your present is happening in that same instant in microscopic presence, in infinite dimensions. What is of the spirit reverberates in matter, and what is of matter reverberates in the spirit. When a tremor takes place, its cause comes out of the earth, it comes out of matter, and the spirit is filled with dread. For infinite solar cords which come out of their spirit and their flesh vibrate in one extreme, while the other one is united to the molecules of the elements of the earth. Behold the cause of the everything above everything in the sensibility between matter and spirit. That is why my firstborn son died on the cross. All the earth shook and the sun went dark. The vibration of a solar firstborn son is a divine superiority in the rest of the hierarchies of the living elements. Everyone cried for their creator, he who ordered them lovingly, he who ordered the wind to calm down. For there was a telepathic and permanent communication between spirit and matter. There are known and unknown laws in the Father's creation. What was unknown just recently is known now. It always happens the same. Every law arrives to knowledge when it has to arrive, for they are also trialed in their laws. For there is no law without a law. Every law is a living request which is written in the kingdom, as the breeze that caresses you is written. The maternal cord is a cord which has trillions and trillions of other cords within itself. All of them get united into one soul cord, the everything above everything. The loving magnetism unites them. When the spirit departs from earth, they tend to separate themselves, for their obligations with the physical body have ceased. They are as free as the spirit itself, but, as they have got a free will and morality, many because of love and obligation of custom, remain with the spirit. This cord was represented by the damned pharaohs by a braid, and it was at the same time a symbol of the living telepathy. From very little the children of the Pharaoh were characterized by this custom. The people of Israel used to call it the tuft. These customs, as well as their creators, were cut off in the kingdom of heavens, for these demons of the old world were cursed by Father Jehovah, a story which will captivate the world, unknown events by the human knowledge, acts which shall be known very soon. Only the living telepathy of the Son unveils your past. No human science can explain its own origin, for it requested, as a living science, the oblivion of the past. This revelation shall provoke an immense controversy between materialism and spirituality, among those who are enclosed in one soul present, and those who think about infinite presence, an intellectual controversy between the Orient and the Occident, between those who serve the virtues and those who serve gold, between those who preferred to serve eternity and those who preferred to serve the world in their trials of life, gold and world, virtue and eternity. Behold the Alpha and the Omega of all the human psychologies, in which everyone requested a final judgment, and the final light of how things were done, two requests which start to be fulfilled at the same instant in which you requested it. Many children who requested to receive the revelation in their existences were trialed. the desire was fulfilled with them, but all of them with no exception despised the request, and despised their entrance to the kingdom of heavens, for that award was being reserved for them. The Divine Father does not beg anyone, but He gives an opportunity. The world shall know in all the languages the names of those who despised Him, for that is how they themselves requested it in the kingdom, in case they did not fulfill their promise. He who despises a humble who speaks in the name of the Father and who has proofs, despises the Creator who has sent him, and he who despises the Father, despises his destiny in the worlds of light. Only the weeping and gnashing of teeth is left for them, written by Alpha and Omega.
Visitor oficial website. www.alfayomega.p